course not. Old car. I run the Toyota in this series. But once you make a mistake and pick the wrong card, you can't change it. Appreciate the return though.
Welcome, race fans, and tonight the Relentless Racing Xfinity Series is taking it to Michigan for race one of the playoff. And I'll tell you what, today is a good day to be up in Michigan as they just locked their way into the national championship. So all of you Bama fans out there, go home and cry and think of other excuses. Tonight I've got with me in the booth, as always, going to be Mr. Bobby Rafferty and Anthony Frey. I believe Bobby's with me right now. Bobby, how's the feel for this race tonight going to be being the first one in the playoffs?
Yeah, a lot of nerves. That's what a lot of the drivers are going to have tonight. A lot of nerves, and not just the playoff drivers, but the drivers that are not in the playoffs, not wanting to ruin a playoff driver's run. But fast, wide track, went out there, ran a few laps. There's a ton of grip, so I think we're going to have a good race tonight.
Well, we know that we've got some of our regular heavy hitters that are out there. We got Brandon Schaefer and Park and Hendricks, Morris Jr., but there's a few names out there that's in the playoffs that, a lot of people may, count them out. Like Preston Hornbeck, William Reagan, I believe Cody Riggs. I believe he snuck into the playoffs.
Yes, he did. Cody snuck in by the skin of his teeth, but I definitely think Cody's going to be one to keep an eye on as well.
Well, it's like that saying goes, you just have to be there to win. You don't have to win every race to win. You just have to be in the 16 to make your way through the Final Four. And I'm going to tell y'all what, we've got it up right now. We've got the rundown of your 16 playoff drivers. Ones to watch. They will be having the different banner than the rest of the racers. And that's going to be a Brandon Banks, Brendan Schaefer, William Regan, Davey Hendricks, Joseph Maines, a Brandon Park, Greg Rogers, who has become kind of a favorite here lately amongst viewers, Preston Hornbeck, Cedric Broswell, Michael Newbraw, Ed Morris, Dakota Orndorff, Sylvian Gallant, Gary Sack, Brandon Hughes, and Cody Riggs. That's going to round out your 16 going into the playoffs. Who are you looking at? Michigan and Atlanta, first round of playoffs.
Obviously, you can't count out the DBR guys. Brandon has also been very, very fast, but also you look at North South between Davey Hendricks and Ed Morris. I said it at the beginning of the season. This one right here is going to be extremely, extremely difficult to call because half the field is capable of winning races. So I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw a non-playoff driver win both this race and Atlanta.
And that's very well possible. I'm going to give y'all two a pair of trivial questions. Since Tony's down here, both of y'all are racers. Would you rather win the first race of the round of 16 to lock yourself into the 12, or barely get to the round of 8 and win that to lock yourself into the final four?
I'll
Uh,
let you go first, Tony.
I definitely go the round of 8. If I can squeeze through the first 2 rounds and win in the round of 8 to lock myself into the final four, that do that all day long.
Me personally, I want to win as many of them as I can. Win the first one in each round, get it over with, and this way you're playing with house money. Unfortunately, it never goes like that. But that being said, you know, you in a position like this, you take what you can get.
Take us all you can get. Well, out there watching, y'all can see the playoff drivers do have the bright green banner, so they will be easily to see, and that's also letting the rest of the drivers know, hey, I'm coming through, and if you ain't in the playoffs, get out of my way.
Nah, absolutely. And that's, within this league, I think we've been very, very fortunate to have a good group of drivers. That these guys, for the most part, are very respectful. So I don't think we're going to see too many issues with things like that.
Well, we got about 50 seconds for qualifying to start, so real quick, we're gonna get everybody's dark horse and who they think's gonna win. Tony, who you got for your dark horse?
Man, I'll tell you what, these Canadian boys are fast tonight. I wouldn't be surprised to see one of them guys win.
We got two of them in the playoffs, so they got a possibility of it. Bobby, what about you?
My dark horse, and he's gonna shoot me if he gets Rex out again. But my dark horse has got to be Josh Van Gore. He's been getting faster and faster and faster and faster. His luck has got to break at some point, and when it does, he's especially over the past few weeks, he has shown some absolute absurd speed. So he's going to be my dark horse for tonight to take a look at.
I've got to go with William Regan. The kid's got it. I'm thinking he's going to pull it out and punch his ticket into 12. But it's fixing to get real serious up here at Michigan, man. It's wide enough you can put it at 4 wide. It always feels like an auto club track to me. That and auto club super speedways, but they're not classified as super speedways.
Well, we were doing some next gen testing races here over the holidays, and there was a few times we were 4 wide, but I'll tell you what, you get to that corner and it gets a little tight.
Yeah, I think the track temperature throughout the race is really going to fluctuate how those cars are going to handle, especially if they want to feel comfortable putting it 4 wide.
Yeah, these cars, once you get about 5 laps on the tires, it seems like these cars really want to push. So it would be really tough, especially in turn 4. I feel like it's a wider corner, but the car does not really like to stay on the bottom on exit and wants to push out to the wall. So if you try to go 3-4 wide there, somebody's not going to make it.
You see, it's Williams coming out of turn 2 on that first lap. It's going to be pretty interesting. I mean, the draft speeds, you can hit every bit of 200 plus and even run it by yourself around 190 to 200. So the speed's not going to be a factor here. It's more going to be a draft dependent track.
Yeah, but I will tell you what. I ran probably 50 laps out there in practice, and I was surprised at how little that draft actually played into it. You gain a little bit, but not as much as you'd think. Ooh, a 39.0.
Well, somebody just dropped the hammer.
That is a fast lap.
That's scooting right there, boys.
Brandon Park, I believe you may know that driver there a little bit.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit.
I mean, we didn't see that fast of a lap in practice in the draft.
He may have been holding on to something he didn't want nobody else to see. And his second one wasn't too bad off neither at 39.15. So
Brandon Schaefer comes in 4/100ths of a second quicker.
Preston Hornbeck able to drop in a P4 right now.
Well, I think the track is definitely gaining some speed. Looks like the track temp's going down a little bit, so that probably is the reason we're seeing these faster times.
It's going to be pretty full field tonight. I believe we've got, what, about 26 drivers out there, give or take?
Yeah, I think we're sitting somewhere around there, 26.
Green lap run. How long y'all think we're going to look at? Of course, we like to see the full race green flag, but
Well, it's Michigan. I feel like we're gonna have long green flag runs until the tires start wearing really bad, and that's where we're gonna have our cautions. People pushing out into the wall. So they can do roughly 25 laps on a fuel run. So probably somewhere around 24, 25 laps is my guess for a green flag run. Depends on how quick they can get separated.
Tires are going to be key here tonight too. I remember last season ended up being lucky enough to have making a strategy call me and Jacob Denson. I think with maybe about 10 to go, we had a yellow, and both of us went in the pits, and some caution fell my way, and I was able to drive literally through the field in 10 laps and take the win off of Alex Forget. So we'll see if anybody paid attention to former races here and tries to keep a set, you know, in reserve there.
I don't really think that's going to be an option tonight, though. 4 total sets of tires, 3 in the pits. When you're got 25 laps of fuel per run, I
Yeah,
think
you're
you're
right.
taking 4 every time you go in for fuel.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to. You're right.
Unless somebody really risks it and runs two fuel runs on one set of tires.
Well, qualifying's over, so we're going to go to commercial break, national anthem, and come back for 100 laps at Michigan. And we'll be right back.
Put yourself into a routine.
I feel like I'm drinking lemonade.
You guys give it a shot.
It works! It works! It's good!
Just try it.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, they're on the back stretch, and it's going to be 100 laps. I think it's going to be some hard-nosed racing. That last 20 laps is where it's going to be at. Chat's starting to fill up outside. What's y'all's take over the winner going to be on this one? We've heard ours. Let's hear y'all's.
For the top 7 qualifiers, only one is not a playoff driver, so that's interesting.
Pace cars off, green flags down. Here we go, starting Relentless race in Xfinity playoffs.
Little check up in that outside lane in the the second place, or second car kind of fell off Brandon Parks there. Lost probably 4 or 5 car lengths. Trying to come back.
Everybody seems to be calming down already, so I mean, looks like they know it's going to be a long race. No reason to push just yet.
Almost had some contact there with the 38, and I believe it was the 72. They got really close to touching doors. Davey Hendricks making a charge on the outside, trying to get that second place position from Brandon Park.
One thing I noticed that's different from last season with these cars is that upper middle groove is definitely got a lot of grip, and to me, it's the place you would want to be. I think being down on that bottom side of the track, you're just killing too much of your momentum. You might end up seeing Brandon Park getting freight trained here.
I noticed that the high line, at least early in the run, is definitely going to be where you want to be in 1 and 2. I think 3 and 4 is going to be driver dependent.
Oh, we got one in the wall already. That's going to be a playoff driver.
Big checkup behind him.
Nice little battle going on between the 16th to about 21st position.
Yeah, kind of a hornet's nest back there right now. Marshall Harris thinking about sticking it 3 wide. Thinks better of it.
And he thought about it. We got Rusty Seaberg out there talking about Rogers. We want to see some Gary Rogers win. I think a lot of people will be pulling for Gary Rogers to win.
Tell you what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of guys pushing the car hard early. That if this goes green, they're going to pay the price for that. Little dust up back here between Mike Hornbeck and Jason Hastings.
These guys need to do in this backpack is try to get it sorted out and get lined up, because if not, they're going to watch that front pack just drive away.
Now, and speaking of that backpack, the 54 car's back there. That's not a position we typically see him in.
No, not at all. He does have his teammate, Jason Hastings, right behind him, though, which has got to be a little bit comforting. It looks like they're starting to get it sorted out, at least that first about 6.
Yeah, and he's kind of towards the front of that hornet's nest, so he's not in any real danger. Like the majority of them have single filed out.
Yeah, there was not much of a battle anywhere, really. I mean, you got a little bit of a Hornets match on the 6-7 spot, but that's just about it.
How about Gary Sachs sitting there? 5th, I believe. 4th. He
Took the words right out of my mouth. I was just looking at that.
started 9th, moved up to 4th, battling with these front runners. Davey has caught the 3 of Brandon Schaefer. He's going to make a move. Get that low line to work.
Those bonus points are going to be very, very important because each one of these rounds is only 2 races long, so every point that you can get is going to be critical. So I think you're going to see these guys fighting pretty hard here.
Yeah, they just don't want to fight too much though, burn up them tires.
100% agreed, but you know as well as I do, as soon as you put that virtual helmet on, the blood flow gets cut off to the head.
Right. Well, Davey tried to make the move, couldn't get it cleared, and now he kind of lost a little ground. Tries to get back in line and make another run.
The good thing, though, about this is, though, this is a learning experience for Davey, right? For the simple fact of, okay, I went ahead and tried this move. Now I know it didn't work. I put
Right.
that in the memory bank, and I know, okay, how do I go about setting up this pass differently the next time?
I don't think he was going to be pushing for it. It looks like he had his run, but it's kind of just eased off chilling now.
Well, I think it's going to be really hard to make that move on the bottom line. You can't get the drive off the corner. So if he's going to make that move, I think he's going to try to set it up where he can be on the top side.
Well, 6 through 10 to 6 and 12 picking up a little bit. They're side by side, 2 wide. Morris looking to throw it down inside 3 wide.
Yeah, I think Greg had to check up off the 7 to get a run. And I think he just lifted and let him have it. Wasn't going to put himself in a bad spot this early in the race.
Also, if you look at the back of that pack, Dakota Orndorff and Brandon Banks have caught the tail end of this pack.
Brandon Park was leading that pack. Looks like he was able to shoot out front and catch that front pack.
Anytime you do any type of hard battling here, it really kills your momentum. And, yes, these are high horsepower cars, and the draft does take into effect here, but it is such a momentum based track where if you have to lift out just a little bit more than you usually would, it takes you a good lap to get the momentum back up. I
Yes.
think that's what we're seeing here.
Especially if you go into the corner side by side. Don't think it's going to play too much effect on the straightaway, but if you go into the corner side by side and can't use that whole track to get your drive off the corner, it's really going to check you up.
Speaking of Dakota, he's got his hands full now with Vincent Vaughn. Somebody we're not used to seeing towards the back of the track. It's going to be Brandon Banks. He seems like he's just kind of chilled out back there around 15th, not really doing much.
Well, he's got a little bit of comfort level because he got that 5 bonus points for winning the regular season championship, so he's got a little cushion now.
So far, so calm. 15 in.
Yeah, I think we'll be seeing some green flag stops in about 10 laps. And that's really something to talk about there, too. 25 laps of fuel, roughly. But the stage is at lap 40. So that's gonna be some strategy. Do you take tires there and hope for some cautions later? Do you hold off and come in 10 laps later? It doesn't align with a fuel run. which will really upset the tire strategy potentially.
I think if it were me, I would definitely come down and take the tires at stage. With the way the guys have been running tonight, does not look like we've been very spicy, as you would say. You don't want to get caught out there and then have to make a green flag pit stop because you run out of fuel.
End up a lap down.
Exactly. So the way the race has been going, I think, is kind of going to dictate what these guys can and cannot do. I don't think you could afford not to put on tires.
Which may even adjust your strategy for your first pit stop. You come in at lap 20 maybe. Get back out there and pressure tires a little quicker than some of these other guys and see if you can leapfrog them for that stage.
Yep.
There's a car right there that fell back pretty quick. Preston Hornbeck started in the 4th spot, didn't get a good launch on the green flag, and fell back to 10th. Looks like he's starting to drive back up through the field, but we'll see how much of that he can gain back. Brandon Park making a move on Gary Sack for P4.
Too much of a battle anywhere. Looks like that's the only one we're going to be seeing is Regan Rogers right now for that 7th and 8th position.
Gary tried to go to the bottom there. That allowed Brandon Park to have the top line. He was able to clear him and gap him by probably 2-3 car lengths. That high line is where the passes are going to have to be made, it looks like. Well, then Ed Morris goes and shows us different.
Ed said, hold my sippy cup and watch this. Here comes that run on the outside back, though. We'll see if he can get the job done in 1 and 2 and get that cleared.
Yeah, and he's hurting his tires running that low line, I think.
Well, at the same time, he's got his teammates ahead of him. You know he's trying to catch him so they can kind of work together. Especially since DVR is not really hooked up in the front like you normally see him.
Man, this battle just won't stop. Ed clears. Gary goes to the bottom. I don't think Gary's going to be able to hold it, though. I think, oh, Gary made it work. Is he going to try to slide it up?
Another battle that's brewing up. That's right there between Alexandre and Brandon.
Davies back to Schaefer's bumper. He's going to try that bottom line again.
Whoa! A little bit of a door right there.
He's like, I told you 10 laps ago I want a bonus point, now I'm taking it.
Well, I think, like, to make that bottom line with those two fast cars, I think Davey can't just go right to the out line. He's got to run more of a mid-line to have any type of drive off. I think Schaefer went down to kind of hold him down there, and Davey could not run that bottom line and make that work, so they just came together.
And I would say keep it there because some pleasantries were exchanged directly after that. So I think things are going to heat up here a little bit between these two drivers.
Well, and we just saw Schaefer do the exact same thing I was talking about. He kind of run that midline, forced Davey.
There it is.
There it was. Like somebody thought they wouldn't clear, but wasn't. Let's jump it back and see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you are hearing more than what I am, so. See if we can find a decent view here, maybe.
I'm watching the far chase from the 38 car right now, and I mean,
To me, Davey couldn't really get any further up
he had a
towards the fence.
couple
You
more
know,
inches and he was in the wall. Schaefer just came up.
We're looking at it right there at the front of LeBrose's car.
and to me, hindsight 2020, we're only what 24, 25 laps into a 100 lap race here. We got a long way to go. You know,
Yeah, probably a
uh,
little too aggressive, a little too
little
early.
by both drivers, yeah, a little bit too aggressive. We got a long way to go. But at the same point, again, like we said, we're fighting for, bonus points here, and there's a championship on the line. You got to take every advantage you can get. So there's always, that side of the coin as well.
Well, I think we called that. What do we say? 23, 24 green flag laps?
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to work out pretty well here for the pit stops. This is kind of right at the end of the run of the fuel. So nobody will have to make a green flag stop. Preston Hornbeck is blinking bad.
Oh, yeah. Quality and everything is good, believe it or not. Or actually, no, yeah, it is Preston. Preston's quality is dropping pretty good.
Well, I wonder if this is the time he tells Mike, get off the internet.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm going to
Mike's
excuse
racing.
myself from the broadcast booth real quick. I'll be back in a second.
Well, Tony, we've been seeing the whole season anyway. We've been seeing that north-south DVR rivalry anyway, so that just adds us a little bit more fuel to that fire.
Yeah, and in-game chat is looking pretty spicy. I think somebody should probably go back and watch the replay.
For now, our biggest mover looks like it's going to be Joey Maines.
Unfortunately, sounds like Cody Riggs got a unsafe pit exit as well for some reason.
I do not see a black flag.
Neither do I, but he did.
Yeah, sometimes they won't show until the green flag.
It's like that old saying go, but wait, there's more.
So I'm just coming back here to look at this. And yep, unfortunately,
Oh, he did. Oh,
he
yeah.
did. He jumped about a half car length up above that yellow line, and unfortunately,
Yep.
anytime you do that, you're gonna get that black flag. So back of the bus for Cody Riggs, and he was running really well, just barely outside that top 10.
Well, he'll get to do some racing now.
And Cody's definitely one of the most patient drivers and smooth drivers that we have in this series. He's very good at conserving fuel and tires, so I don't think it's going to be an issue for him to drive back up through the field.
Tony, that sounds like a team on
A little bit,
Wait,
but
I've got both of y'all in here now. Wait a second.
yeah,
When
but
did we think this?
but you got to admit, I am just as hard on my drivers as I am when I praise them. If they mess up, I let them know.
caution, we saw Marshall Harris hit the wall. Ooh,
Whoa.
42 spun the tires.
Little north-south crime going
Yeah,
on there.
like
Poor
the
Chad
40.
Wiggins.
Like the 42 spun the tires and kind of checked everybody up.
That was not how you want to restart that race.
No.
Well, I assume, I can't say for certain, but I assume the 42 did not take tires there. Or he restarted in first gear and just got on the throttle a little too heavy. 3 wide for the lead.
And Morris may have had a hand in that one also.
Yes, he did. He came over the comms apologizing to his teammate Chad. He spun the tires hard and she hooked hard left, and unfortunately Chad went through the spin cycle.
So 2 cars in the relatively the same spot spun the tires.
Unfortunately, Chad's got a bunch of damage on that right front of his car. He's going to be praying for a caution here rather quickly so he can come down and try to get that, bandage back up and get back out there.
We have a new leader.
Alexandra was able to get around Hendricks.
Well, and Davey does have some damage on his right front fender. I assume that's probably going to make that car a little tighter. Marshall blinking.
Marshall got really loose right there between 2 playoff drivers.
Yeah, he almost ran in the back of the 54 and had to check up and almost got in the mains.
Blinking at Marshall. Preston's still having connection issues.
Yeah, his quality on his internet is pretty bad.
I will say this though, if there's one guy that's blinking out there that I would trust to drive around while he's blinking, it would be Brandon Banks. He's very good at holding his line, he's a very good driver. So him I would not be too concerned about, especially if he's aware of it.
Marshall Harris up to second.
Yeah, Marshall's kind of just driving through the field, and I have a feeling that's going to really hurt him towards the latter part of this race.
I'm curious who all took tires there with the stage coming out at lap 40. Obviously Marshall did, but I'm curious if everybody took tires there or
Yeah,
just...
like everybody except for Hendricks and Maines.
Well, that would explain why Davies falling back.
There's a possibility Hendricks did take 2.
I don't think Davey would take 2. I think if he would have taken tires, he would have taken 4. He was probably just trying to get damage fixed and didn't want to waste the time.
I'm looking at the front of Davies' car now. It looks like they got that car put back together in really, really good shape.
Yeah, the front of his car looked fine. It was that right front fender that had the damage. Right above the tire.
Davey is also, I'm just riding on board with him, he's also clutching going into the corner now. So I'm wondering, did he not even take fuel?
Oh, he would have. He had to take a fuel. He wouldn't be running right now. But Marshall, to the point.
And Ricky Williams is not far behind him, up 21 spots to fifth. That is the other driver I was telling you about, Tony, when we was talking about Nickelodeon.
Oh, okay.
That's two of the four.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if Davey didn't take tires, he's still sitting, what, fifth?
It's not bad.
With 6 to go to stage? That is going to be potentially a game changer for later in the race.
Because that's going to give you that extra set. You survived stage 1 with 3
Exactly.
sets. Okay,
Exactly. Able to maintain decent track position and gain a set of tires.
So surprisingly, Brandon Schaefer is back out there. Was able to get a majority of the damage fixed on his car, albeit in 24th position, but is still on the lead lap. So I don't think he's out of this yet either.
Yeah, he'll be looking for that caution to get him caught back up.
Yeah, that's actually pretty amazing. But it don't sound like his car is actually up to speed.
Taking on board with him real quick on my own here and see what I'm seeing.
Williams continuing that charge to the front. He's bringing Cedric with him up 17 spots.
I will say that car is probably on about 7 cylinders, so I'm gonna have to retract my previous statement.
Well, he did take some front end damage right into the wall, so he probably lost some RPMs.
Marshall may be able to take a stage win.
I think he's got it. He's got a 2-second lead right now with 2 laps to go. Unless he makes a mistake, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, I don't think there's enough time for Ricky to chase him down. He's a second and a half behind him coming across the start finish. Remains those little dust stuff off the wall.
That's what I thought I saw there. Should be the stage this time by.
Well, looks like Cedric's going to be your highest playoff driver, finishing P3 on stage 1. Well, they're in the caution. We're going to give a shout out to some of these guys who help us sleep and pay our bills. We'll be right back.
The first thing that's really worked for me to put me to sleep.
Helps relax me when I'm trying to go to bed.
All just really spectacular.
It also helps you put yourself into a routine.
I feel like I'm drinking lemonade. You guys give it a shot.
It works! It works! It's good!
Just try it.
All right, I guess we're definitely going to be seeing some pits here. Except
Oh
for
yeah, I think.
Cedric. Cedric's
That's
opting to stay out.
That's an interesting call. He'll have to come back in 10, maybe 15 laps for fuel.
Gonna be interesting here to see these guys who did pit.
Oh, Brandon Park just rear-ended Davey going into pits.
That was. I don't know what happened on that one. See if we can take that back and look. I don't remember that. We're gonna look, Connor.
Looks like, I don't know. It almost looks like Brandon didn't expect Davey to turn in when he did. Definitely no fault of Davies whatsoever. I mean, innocent bystander in that deal.
Yeah, just got spun into the inside wall.
The real question there is that damage that was done. He pushed into the wall. How it's going to affect that car now?
Well, I don't think it's gonna do any engine damage. He wasn't going fast enough. It's more of I haven't looked at the front of his car, but whatever the front of his car looked like.
Well, at least his left side will now match his right side.
Yeah, that fender took a pretty good hit. The splitter is all bent. He's gonna come back out.
Does not look like it fixed much of that damage. I think it may be a little bit more severe than we're thinking.
Yep, that looks pretty bad. We'll see what that car handles like here, if he can climb back through the field or not.
If I was Davey, I'd be unchecking my tires, telling him, don't give me any more fuel, and come in and try to get a little bit more of that damage fixed.
Yeah, I think they're 1 to green now, so he's got what he's got for the moment. I'll have to wait till the next caution.
Yep, you are right. We are 1 to green. See, this is why I'm a driver and not a crew chief. I know how to go. I know how to go fast, turn left, and right. Sometimes. Crew chief, no. Been a rough night for a lot of our playoff contenders here.
Yeah, and a lot of it was just not necessary. That's my issue with it. Like
100%.
Mistake by Brandon Park. Like, I get it. But there's also no need to be that close to somebody on pit road. You don't need to be on their bumper.
100% agree.
The caution prior, that was no need for that. 20 laps into the race.
That we're just going to chalk up to spicy. A spicy rivalry that's been going on since the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, those teams have been at it.
But that really shook up our front runners. Ricky Williams to the point got a great restart, brought Ed Morris with him.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I watch somebody to actually watch next season, and that's going to be Ricky. Oh, 3 wide right there on the back stretch. Orndorff, Mains, Banks. Oh, Regan blinking.
Cody Riggs moving back up to the field, up to 11th. After getting that EOL at the last caution.
Oh, we got a 3 wide battle. Regan's Main and LaBrose. Sack debate whether or not he wants to get into it. Jordan Miles praying to God he don't get into it.
Great battles
Somebody's
going
gonna
on
lift.
all over the. Yeah, it's been great battles going on all over the place. A little bit further back, we got Preston, Josh, and I'm not sure Michael Newbrow were 3 wide going into that corner.
There are 6 cars on top of each other right here.
I want to say it's not 3 wide. That's kind of feels about like 6 wide. You're running that close.
About 4 wide right there.
Boys, calm down. We ain't even halfway yet. As that battle's been going on up front, Ed Morris has taken the lead. Could we see him finally get his first win this season?
Well, and we got Greg Rogers and Brandon Banks right behind him with Dakota Orndorff from 4th. So we got a battle here. They were bumper to bumper to bumper for the first 3 spots.
Tell you what, that battle back there around 11th spots has not eased up, and you've got it all the way now from about 9th to about 16th.
I think the safest person in that whole hornet's nest is Cody Riggs. He's in the front of it.
Yep.
Ricky Williams dropped.
Yeah, I'm taking gas on that really hard here.
Yeah, he's sitting in 13th. He restarted in the point. Davey Hendricks coming back through the field.
3 wide again. Brandon Park on the bottom of that. Ed Morris Sr. and I want to say that's Alex on the outside. 3 wide going into 1.
72, yep.
Yep, and there's, like you said, there's a reason you drive, not crew chief. There's a reason I'm up here instead of down there. My nerves could not handle some of this.
Oh, this is fun.
This is so much fun when you're doing this, especially when you're doing it around guys you trust and you know you can race hard. Looks like it's finally starting to single file out though, and kind of calm down here a little bit.
Yeah, I think we're seeing fresh tires versus old tires. That's really kind of the factor here.
Banks, Orndorff, and Maines slowly make their way up through the field. All 3 of them up in the top 6.
And they're coming up to Cedric. Well, Preston's internet issues have been fixed. His quality is really good right now.
Don't say that too much.
Four-car battle for the lead has now turned into a 6-car battle. Or more so, a 5-car battle for second. Ed Morris is sitting about 2 to 3 tenths in front of this battle.
Battle right there for second. They've hooked up. Well, if they hook up, they should be able to catch him here in the next couple of laps.
Gary Sack making a move on the outside. We'll see if he's able to gain a spot here.
He's trying it, but Coda's not letting him have it easy.
Yeah, I think he's got the momentum now. If he can keep it wound up on that high line, he should clear. Gonna bring William Reagan with him.
I think right there's where his momentum came from, Tony.
Yeah, well, and later into the run, it's a little harder to keep any type of speed on exit off that bottom line. First 5 laps or so you can do it, but I think it just kind of, the car gets so tight, it's really hard to drive off the corner off that bottom line. Gordon Miles trying to catch this lead pack. Cody Riggs up to 8th after getting that EOL for the unsafe pit exit.
Cody's really gotten his way back into it.
I think we'll see pit stops again in about 10 laps.
Well, it's green. We're going to throw it out the cutscene real quick. We'll be right back.
And the first thing that's really worked for me to put me to sleep.
Helps relax me when I'm trying to go to bed.
All just really spectacular.
It also helps you put yourself into a routine.
I feel like I'm drinking lemonade. You guys give it a shot.
It works! It works! It's good!
Just try it.
Regan is pushing sack right there.
Gained a little bit on Brandon Banks. Getting closer to that bumper.
All this battling has really let Ed Morris just walk away from this field. Opened it up to about 1.2 seconds over second place, so he's broken any type of draft that they would get off of him now.
Well, and we're also seeing that second pack can't catch him even being in the draft.
Yep.
It seems like the draft here is not a huge factor at all. I mean, Ed Morris is out there all by himself and with no help. Pretty spread out here. We got groups of cars, but it's like 3 or 4 cars in a group. I think those guys at the very back, the Marshall Harris, those guys, I don't think they took tires there. I assume that's why they're 12 seconds off the lead. But
Alexander, Ricky Preston, and Marshall.
yeah.
Okay.
And I think for that to actually work out for them, they're going to need a caution. If we go green to the end, they're not going to be able to overcome that. There's the caution.
There it is.
I don't even know what it was for.
Look like Brandon Hughes maybe spun out somewhere back towards the back.
Take a peek.
Looks like a meeting of the minds between Brandon and LaBrose off of turn 2. Great job by Brandon to keep it off of that inside wall.
And it looks like the 72 went low, and
This looks like he got tight coming up off the corner, and
oh, I think what you're gonna see is I think you're gonna see Brandon check up. I think he got tight.
yes, he did. You called
Yeah.
that.
The way his car kind of straightened itself out, that's what it looked like to me, as he had to check up to stop hitting the wall, and the 72 had a head of steam. He didn't expect him to check up.
He definitely did. Brandon went from about 166 miles an hour, 167 center of the corner, exiting. He was down to 160. So he
Yes.
definitely was way off the gas going, please turn.
I think that was a racing deal there. I think if you asked Brandon, he would tell you the same. He had to check up, and
100%. Well, this is going to shake things up a little bit here.
well, we were just talking about those guys at the back. For this to cycle back to put them equal, they were going to need a caution and going to need to pit with everybody else. So this is going to bring some of those guys at the back into this. If it would have went well, Hendricks, he's gonna go fix everything he can right now, which is definitely gonna help him. He was not gaining any ground. He was stuck back in like 16th and could not advance. But a lot of these guys, if it was gonna go green, they gave up 12 seconds on that run by not taking tires. Even if they took tires on a green flag pit stop, they weren't gonna gain that track position back, because everybody would have been taking tires at the next pit stop. So this is going to be kind of an equalizer for the whole field, I think.
One person who didn't want to see that was Morris.
Well, we were getting close to green flag runs anyways, or green flag pit stops, so only thing is he loses that gap he had, but I think he'll still come out in first here.
And it does
It's
appear
close.
that Davey got all of his damage fixed on that car. Brandon Shaper's still down there trying to get as much fixed as he can, but I think he's got, like I said earlier, quite a bit of damage on that
Yeah.
race car.
Sounds like he can't make pace, so get out there and turn some laps and hope some people don't finish, but that's about it. Not going to be competitive.
And that's what you have to do when you're running for a championship, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes the night does not go the way that you'd like it to, and you just got to go out there and get what you can get.
And 1 point can make the difference in advancing.
100%.
We've seen it happen before. Somebody in our chat would attest to that.
He's out there proud that his driver got wrecked. That's a true team owner right there, Bobby.
Who do I need to take tips from?
Connor saying his guy deserved it.
Oh, man. Connor's just mean, man. He's grumpy. He had a long drive home from the Tulsa shootout.
Connor's about like the Bob Knight coach.
Don't tell him that. His head's going to swell so much we won't be able to get it through the window on Wednesday night.
Well, I'm going to go take a peek at Davey's car and see what that looks like now.
Looks real good from what I just saw.
Oh, yeah. That front end's all fixed up. Splitter straight.
So I think
That
now
rear looks good.
we're going to see a hard charge by Davey to get back to the front. He's going to have just about 35 laps to get it done.
Yeah, I think you're right. His car looks good. See what he can do with it. Get through this traffic.
We saw one battle between.
Marshall is trying to be extremely aggressive here.
You think he would have learned something from the past few 4 line experiences he's had?
clobbered a couple people trying to get through there. Looks like he about got into Ricky Williams on the low side. I don't remember who was on the high side. About got into them. He's pushing it.
You guys remember what I said earlier about when you strap in the virtual race car, it cuts off all the blood off to the brain? Yeah, I think point in case right there.
Well, if Thomas was here, he would stay Marshall doing Marshall things.
Solid argument.
Just put the helmet on, don't mean you're down or hard.
Solid argument.
Maybe a Teresa Earnhardt.
Ooh. Low blow.
Looks like we got a 2-car breakaway out here for the lead.
And that's
Morris
that
and
DBR and North-South again.
Yep. And then we got a couple of
Oh, big wreck in the back.
Oh yeah, Marshall's in it. Josh Vangor's in it. Jason Hastings maybe.
Hastings, fine.
Go back and look, but I have a feeling I know what happened there.
Oh yeah. No, not what we thought. Looks like Bangor may have gotten a little loose and that car just snapped.
Oh, he got cut off by the 6.
Yeah, all the air got taken right off the nose of that car. And when you take the air off of these cars, there's about no saving them. I can tell you right now, I do not want to go down to that pit box because I'm sure Josh is going to be rearranging the furniture.
Well, Tony, you and me both was wrong on our thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna go to a rear chase view and see. Yeah, you can see the steering wheel. He got loose and he just overcorrected after all the air came off. And his car is destroyed.
Hendricks gets lucky getting by that one.
Yeah, he's showing in the 12th position right now, so he's coming back.
If we had a hard luck award within this league for Xfinity, and I'm not just saying it because it's my guy, it's not an award that we want whatsoever, but I don't think anybody's had worse luck than Josh this season in this division.
Yeah, he's got that magnet on him.
Yeah, that was kind of an aggressive move there, the 6 sliding up like that. Yeah, he was clear, but he wasn't clear by much.
Exactly. It almost looks like, to me, watching Josh's onboard, it looks like it startled him when he did that, and he tried to turn down the track not to get into the back of the 6, and that's what sent his car loose, that real aggressive turn to the left there.
Yeah, you can see his steering wheel from the from the rear chase view. He was cranking on it.
Well, it's going to be 30 to go, green flag. That's going to put us right inside pit window. Do you clutch it, save it, or you take it right here and try to make it to the end?
Yeah, I think you take it here and bank on some cautions.
I think so too.
I mean, that's what I think I would have did. Go down pit road, top it off with fuel, maybe save the tires in case of a late race caution. But I think I would have filled her up with fuel right there. You get, one caution, you probably make it.
Especially if you're at the back, you don't really have much to lose at that point. Why not take that gamble?
And guys, I think Joey Maines may have been listening, because he done exactly what we was talking about.
I mean, it's a risky move, but if it doesn't work out, you're really not that bad off. unless you're up at the front right now, and then you're in a pit, you lose that track position. But mid-pack on back, what do you got to lose there?
So just going back and looking at Brandon Shaker's car, that thing looks, I think, about as good as it's gonna get, and it definitely sounds like it's back up to song and to full speed. Just catching up to the pace car here, he was at 192 mile an hour going into turn 1. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see something out of Mr. Schaefer here as well.
Still got a pretty good wrinkle in that right fender. Left rear's kind of beat up a little bit.
You know as well as I do, though. You know as well as I do, though. Driving Mad's worth at least 2/10.
Well, we're going to rack them up and do it again. Ed Morris gets a great launch.
Morris got a real good position.
Yeah, I think the 54 was just a little bit late. He didn't lose anything to everybody else. He stayed equal.
A little bit of time I ran with Ed and Arca, he was phenomenal. He was a royal pain right behind racing for that championship when he came in late, because he was a contender right off the bat and very, very, very good at restarts.
And he controlled the restart. So that definitely gave him an advantage. And he made the best of it. He's got probably a 3-car length lead right now. They're stacked up.
I was really just surprised to see Sackley, his teammate.
Davey Hendricks right in the middle of that stack up right there.
Yep, they made it through though.
This car might be back in the race.
It looks clean. Looks like they got everything fixed on it. Now he's just got to try and work his way through the field.
But he's got a DVR guy right there around him, and we know that there's no love lost between those two camps.
And we got side by side for the lead. Ed Morris and Gary Sack. Ed should have the advantage here. A little assist from the 54 of Brandon Banks. Ed's going to be able to keep the momentum on the high lane. He should be able to clear the 89. 89's going to try and slide up in front of the 54. Ooh, big wiggle. Nice save.
Late block.
Very, very late.
Man, when Gary knows he's got a shot at a win. He don't hold back.
Yeah, he about wrecked the whole field there.
Well, it wouldn't have been really bad, especially with his teammate right there back behind it.
One thing I noticed, the 54 is lifting early for the corner, and a lot of the other guys are driving it in a lot deeper. I don't know if
that
that's
right front.
Yep. Definitely gonna save the tires on the long run. Ooh, 72 and a 37, almost connected there.
So if this does go green, what are you thinking for tire strategy here, Tony? You think you come down?
There goes spinning in the back.
Or, well, never mind. There goes that out the window.
And remember that strategy we were talking about?
Yep.
Would have been the perfect scenario for somebody on that strategy.
I think Preston's car is done.
Going back and looking at it right now.
Ooh.
Oh, 7 came down. Yep, 7 just clobbered his right rear.
And I'm not too sure what the point of that was, if I'm being completely honest.
I agree, that was unwarranted.
Not how Preston wanted this race to go for him.
No, he's going to be climbing out of a hole. Oh.
Yeah, I kind of don't agree too much on stuff, but yeah, that looked pretty malicious. But strategy, I said, is out the window. It's going to be a green, hopefully a green flag shootout.
See who has tires left here.
No hindrance has got to set. I'm not for sure, but Schaefer and Park was in the same pit box there for a second.
I noticed that too. Not sure if that was just a, hey, I'm not sure where my box is, so I'm going to slow down early just in case.
And all right, I'm not for sure. I'm saying this correctly. I know I am, but we got
You're
Brandon
seeing it
Hughes in
correct.
the lead.
Yep, Brandon stayed out. I believe Edmore Sr. stayed out.
From a commentary perspective, I got to give props to the Xfinity admins too for making those banners bright neon green, because it makes it much easier to pick out who the drivers are. So whoever
Absolutely.
made that call, good call. Kudos to you.
And we see the 4 coming down pit road. Connor does not have faith. Like we're going to have a father-son lined up here for the outside row.
Connor warned us. I guess he really got into this driver's rear end. But I don't know how it's going to play out. Is he's not on freshest of tires. Him and Morris Sr. neither one. So a lot of green banners up there towards the front, guys. It's going to get interesting.
All the spicy.
Brandon got a great launch. See what he can do with it here.
Go
Number
3 wide.
7. Gonna send it through the middle. Able to clear the 5 of Edmore Sr.
Regan and Rogers.
Little wiggle wiggle.
Brandon needed that jump. We saw what happened when you don't have good tires. Morris has already dropped all the way back. 13th.
Well, and he's able to maintain it for the moment. We'll see what happens in the long run.
Three wide coming out of 2. Williams, Park, Orndorff, or Rogers.
Brandon Park sticking it through the middle. Gain that spot on the 11 of Ricky Williams, and Davey.
Davey's got so much business up there.
Yeah, great recovery by him so far.
Brandon is starting to drop. Gary Sack to the lead, followed by Ed Morris Jr.
Park a little squirrely right there as they're 3 wide.
Park looked like he was trying to do a cut down move, and Davey was already there.
Door banging there between the 14 and 32. Davey Hendricks up to 6th.
Rogers is hanging in there in P3 right now, Rusty.
Well, I will say Greg is due.
Yeah,
Greg's due for a win.
he's overdue. He's like when you're a kid, you lose the library book, and you find it 20 years later when you get married.
Amen to that.
But I know Gary is going to make it very hard on anybody to get around him.
These cars only 7 or 8 foot so wide, but you try to pass them, it seems like they're 20 feet wide.
I mean, they probably use about 20 feet of the track to get so tight.
Riggs has recovered. He's running in P10, battling with Dakota right now.
Is that running the apron?
Whoever they are, they just went another lap down.
Would be Sylvain. Came back down pit road, apparently.
Gapping up for a green-white checker, maybe.
Well, Hendricks has had a recovery. I mean, running in 6th right now compared to how that night could have went.
I think he would probably be content for that.
Brandon Paper also knocking on the door for a top 10 here, running in 11th, right behind Cody Riggs.
We're going to have a battle for the lead here in a second between Gary Sack and the 07 Ed Morris Jr. Ed gets really good runs off the corner where Gary has better entries. I think long run that's going to benefit Ed as he sticks it low now. He's going to try to make that move in turn 1. And he clears.
Looks like Rogers is going to try to follow suit.
Yeah, Greg couldn't come up the track at all, so he kind of lost some momentum on exit. but he recovered pretty nice. Only car length back right now.
Goes Greg.
Greg's making a move for P2. See if he can stick it on the bottom in turn 1 and clear.
Marshall, you're moving stage 1 was better questionably.
Greg makes the pass up to P2. Gary's going to fight back on that inside, though.
Yeah, Gary ain't going down without a fight.
He center down into that corner hard.
With that being said, Gary doesn't want to be too aggressive here either. You know, he's in the bottom of the playoff points. I think he was in like 15th. So coming out of here with a third or fourth place finish would be a good night.
Well, Morris is enjoying seeing those two behind him fight, and them three behind Sack and Rogers, they're enjoying it too, because that's letting them close the gap in.
Brandon Bake's going to make a move around the 89. Oh!
Oh,
William Reagan in it. That was almost the same thing we saw earlier.
No caution, debris on the track. And Regan's got his hood back.
That'll promote Hendricks back up into a podium position, running third.
No, Connor, the debris jumped back on the vehicle.
I'm going to go back and watch that one. See what happened.
Mr. Banks wished the debris jumped back onto the backside of his car because there ain't no bumper on that one. That is going to make that car awful loose.
Yeah, a little bit of net code brought them together. Gary didn't move off of his line. Little prediction code there, I think. It's a risk you take when you racing that close to somebody, I think.
Well, you know, Morris and Rogers was glad for that, and Hendricks has benefited from this, back up to where he started.
Yeah, and that's going to drop Gary pretty far back. Sitting back to 9th right now. 10th. To listen to me. Top 3 or 4 would have been better. Back to 11th. Jordan Miles going to get around him here.
Brandon Park back up into the top 5 as well here, guys. Running in P4 with Dakota Orndorff sitting in that 5th position.
Dakota's one of those drivers, he's consistent and he's quiet.
Absolutely. Also, speaking of quiet, we talked about him a little bit earlier tonight with that black flag penalty that he got. But Cody Riggs also solidly in the top 10, up to 7th, and working on LaBrosse right now for that 6th place spot.
Yeah, I think Cody could have been a little further up, but when that happened in front of him, he checked up to make sure he wasn't in it and gave up a couple spots there. But he survived to fight another day, so I think that choice was probably a good one.
Making that move here. He's going to clear.
It's better to lose 2 spots than lose your whole car.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Now he's got to prepare for that little bump. Well, it seems like Greg cannot get to the 07.
Oh, but Hendricks is getting to him.
I know the feeling of chasing that 07 car and just not quite being able to get there. It's frustrating.
Seven to go this time by.
One thing these guys do not want is a caution.
No, I think Pretty much everybody in the top 10 would contend with this whole green. Maybe some of the guys in the back would prefer a caution, close that gap up, but no, 07 definitely does not want a caution. Davey Hendricks moves up to P2. Gets around Greg Rogers. Don't think Davey will have anything for Ed, but I think if you told Davey that he was going to come back for a P2 finish after that whole beginning of the race, he would not believe you.
Unfortunately, Davey was involved in just about every incident we had the first half of this race, on the track and on pit road.
Yep.
Coming to 5 to go.
See if Greg can battle back, get that P2 back. He's also probably going to have to defend the 14 of Brandon Park here in the next couple laps.
Not this lap, but the last lap prior to that, Brandon actually got it down on the apron in 3 and 4 and had a huge moment. He was driving the wheels off of that car right now, trying to get up to that podium.
Your top 5 may be set right there.
I think Brandon Park may have something to say about that.
I'm gonna say that.
He's doing everything he can to get the Greg Rogers bumper.
You put the bit between Brandon's teeth, and there's something right in front of him, he's gonna go get it.
He got a great run off of turn 2. He's going to be on the bumper. He's going to go low into turn 3 and see if he can make that pass. Greg's going to have
bumper. He wanted it out.
Greg's going to have the momentum on the high side. We'll see if Brandon can stay equal with him off the corner, or at least stay. Nope. Greg's able to clear him. It's going to be hard this late in the run to make that bottom work. Park's going to try and set it up again, take that high lane, cut down, and try and get that run off the corner. He does.
He's going to have a much better opportunity to get the job done right now.
I think he's just going to do that into turn 1 instead of turn 3. I think it'll be a little easier to make the move in turn 1.
Don't count out Dakota here either, because with these guys battling, Dakota's going to get caught up to them relatively quickly, and he may have something to say about this.
I think Park's got him now. He's able to stay on. Oh. He was able to stay to the inside, but right at the last minute, Greg was able to clear him.
Park's running that high side. He's getting that momentum going.
The same thing he did the last 2 laps in turn 1. But he does not have as much of a run this time, so I think he's going to abort and just try to keep some momentum and see what he can do in 1.
Flag, when to wear it. See what happens here.
Like Park picked my advice. He's setting it up into turn 1 instead of turn 3. We'll see what kind of run off the corner he gets.
Don't think he's quite close enough.
No, I don't think so either. But now he's got Dakota running that high lane off of turn 4. See what kind of momentum he gets. Not enough.
Gets his first win of the season. Davey with one heck of a comeback for second, and Greg Rogers in Q3.
5 playoff drivers in the top 5. 6.
Cody Riggs coming home in P6. Vapor came back for a top 10 for ninth place finish as well.
I'll have to say that the drive of it was Hendricks.
Absolutely. Coming back from multiple issues. Getting wrecked in pit road. Driving back to a P2 finish. I think he would take that all day long.
What a time though for Ed to get his first win. He's playing with house money going into next week. He is officially locked in.
Yeah, now he's just going to try and pad that, get those extra bonus points for stages, whatnot.
Absolutely.
Set himself up a little better for the round of 12.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break. Give us a shout out to Cutscene and Whiplash, and we'll be back with our podium finishers.
Been the first thing that's really worked for me to put me to sleep.
Helps relax me when I'm trying to go to bed.
All just really spectacular.
It also helps you put yourself into a routine.
I feel like I'm drinking lemonade. You guys give it a shot.
It works! It works! It's good!
Just try it.
Well, he's eventually going to make his way up here. Get Greg Rogers. Up here, he's apparently forgot where the podium is. Greg, you got a P3, man. Congratulations on it.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a great race. Really thought I'd be able to catch Ed there at the end, but he's clearly got a lot of speed at Michigan, so it was a really fun race.
Well, you fought through the pack and dropped down a little bit, but stayed pretty consistent up in the top 10. There's a lot of I don't know the word I'm looking for, mischief going on up there.
Towards the end, after that last caution we had, the top 10 was pretty turbulent. But thankfully, it worked out, at least for most of us. I know that there was a wreck behind me that didn't cause a caution. But yeah, the differing strategies was a lot of fun. We weren't sure if we wanted to take tires during the stage or during stage 1 for the points, and thankfully we didn't, because we needed the tires at the end, as you saw. So I know that our team, Shenandoah, had 3 top 10s today. I know Jordan might get called to the hauler, but we'll work that out. But yeah, overall a good race. We're really happy with it.
I was going to ask you about that, Greg, with the tire strategy. So did you say you did take tires at that first caution, or you did not?
We did not, no. And we knew a few people would. And we were essentially sacrificing at least 4 or 5 points. but we figured that there might be a late caution or something. Not even late, like I think it was with like 20 to 23 to go or something. So I'm really happy that we didn't take them in the middle of stage one. We would have certainly gotten a lot of points, but we'd have suffered at the end. We probably wouldn't have even finished in the top 20.
Yeah, definitely worked out better for points with the finishing position than just the stage points. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we were talking about that earlier, how that stage was kind of in between a fuel run there and the differing strategies. But it sounds like the strategy you chose not to take tires there worked out. I think only a couple actually took tires there.
Yep.
Marshall Harris being one of them. He was flying out front, but obviously then when it cycled out, he was in the back and ended up getting caught up in a wreck. So I think the track position by not taking tires there really helped you out.
Yeah, I think so. And usually you don't consider Michigan like a track position race, but as soon as all of the tires, fell off, it was actually pretty tough to pass. Not in that you couldn't, but more so if you did pass somebody, you chewed up your tires. Like you could hear it. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was tough out there for sure, but good racing.
Seemed like the bottom line on older tires, it was almost impossible to pass, just because you couldn't carry the speed off the corner. It seemed like the high lane was the defensive line there. Was that what you saw out there?
Yep, exactly. Though I didn't see a whole lot of tire savings by being on the high line. I tried that towards the, I think it was in the middle of the race. I was trying to catch Ed, and I was like, I'm going to save tire. He went to the bottom, I went to the top, and I still didn't have any tire to catch him. So,
Right.
but yeah, defensively, definitely taking the top, and it's impossible to. You can't really slide job them. If they do, you can cross them over, no problem.
Right.
But yeah, I hope the race was entertaining. I'm sure you guys have both Davey and Ed to interview. So thanks again for broadcasting. Hope you
Yeah,
enjoyed the show.
yeah, man. Do you have any other shout outs you wanna do?
No,
Or
I mean shout out again to my teammates because all three of us got top tens. So that's huge momentum. Dax in the playoffs for the first time. Or I don't know if that's true. I think it's not, but either way, we're looking forward to next week and hopefully making it to the next round.
I mean, we're going to send you back down so y'all can devise that plan for Atlanta.
Sounds good. See you, fellas.
yeah,
Well, guys, he was counted out. I ain't gonna lie. I did not see him pulling back a podium after everything he ran through. P2 was probably nowhere in the books, but you survived it. You made it up there to the front, Davey, and you and Ed locked in a 1-2 with North South.
Yeah, I did not think I was going to be able to get back to the front at all. But no, I'm glad we could come away with 1-2 finish. It's his first win of the season. He goes to the next round of the playoffs. I had a good solid points night, so there's really not too much to complain about, honestly.
pretty rough going early on for you, Davey. But we saw the incident out on the track, and then the pit road mishap there. None of which was your fault, but you ended up suffering the consequences. But man, way to persevere and stick your head down, your elbows out, and drive back to the front.
Yeah, the that first one, it's just crappy. I mean, we were racing hard for the lead, and I knew, he's faster than I am, but I was to the wall, and I felt like I couldn't really go any farther up. Um, that's certainly not the person I want to wreck out and cause issues. I think he won the regular season title. Um, I mean, I don't know. How do you not come up as much? He'd have passed me, took the lead, and kept the lead more than likely.
Yeah,
The pit road one, that was crappy. Not gonna lie. That gave
yeah,
me 2 minutes of damage. The left front tire was bent and had all kind of issues with it. I'm not ever sure that they actually ever got the tire straight as it should be. But I don't know. I'm just happy that I got it fixed and was able to kind of like recover, and it went my way at the end.
man. I'll tell you what. We were looking at your car after that incident, and the front splitter was bent up. The fender was all damaged. But I'll tell you what, your pit crew, they got that car straightened out, at least body wise.
Yeah, that's kind of the saving grace with the new damage model with these any of the cars. They fixed the car up pretty well aero wise. But for me it was just the left front tire was just not the same camber that it should have been, but whatever, I'll take it. When that first run after that pit road incident, I couldn't get into the top 15. I could not get the car to turn. It was slow on the straights, but I lucked out and we caught one more caution not long after that let me finish it, and then I was able to slowly work my way up through the field.
Yeah, man, those cautions just fell your way to get that damage fixed. So, congratulations on the P2, man.
Appreciate it.
And you know the routine. The shout outs are yours.
Thank all my teammates, Wiggins, both the Morrises, junior, senior, Forns. Yeah, it's a good group to race with. I enjoy being with them every week. All the sponsors that put this on, specifically Jabbit PC for doing the Xfinity series, and Cutscene, Go Cruise, Martin Esports, Exile Esports, all for coming on and sponsoring the series or the league as a whole. All the admins that put this on, you guys up in the booth, and everyone watching. I think that's it.
Oh, man, how you feel about Atlanta?
Honestly, I don't like new or old. I really don't enjoy either of them. But we're running the old one, and I'm fine with that because I don't like the new version. I don't like super speedways in the playoffs. There's too many gimmicks that can happen in packs like that. I mean, I'm comfortable enough to feel like I'll have a solid top 10, but I really won't know where I fare on it until we start putting laps down in practice next week.
Well, man, old Atlanta's a cheese grater, so save them tires.
To the best of my ability, I will attempt.
All right, that was one I was honestly not expecting to have up here at the podium after the way his race went.
Yeah, that was a rough one, but he came back. Got to give him props for that.
But without further ado, race winner. He finally got his one of the season, counting it when it matters in the playoffs. You're going into the round of 12, Ed. Congratulations.
Hey, thanks, man.
Well, Ed, you were starting the playoffs kind of in a hole. Sitting in 11th, no wins on the season. Kind of got shuffled down a little bit on the reset, but now you moved up to P6 with that win today and a lock in, which will reset you to the top when we reset for the round of 12. So, man, you just went from 11th to 6th to potentially 1st, depending on who wins the next race and where they're at in points.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we have the points to make it to the next round, it'll get nitpicky once we get down into the round of 8, round of 4. But no, it's a great way to start the playoffs off. It's been a rough season. We've had a few good races, and then we've had a lot of bad races. So definitely tonight was a much needed win and something to give us some momentum to go forward.
Man, winning a race just changes your whole outlook. Makes you have a lot more confidence moving forward. So I assume that's definitely going to be a benefit to you.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, a lot of cautions at the end. I feel like you did not want to see those cautions. You get out to a big lead, and then a caution would fall.
No, I didn't. I was hoping it was going to go green the rest of the way. I was definitely better over the longer run, better with managing the tires and some of the guys. I mean, this track is just it's tough because it's so fast and you could run real hard into the corners, but you can also get yourself into trouble too by running that quick pace. But no, it worked out. We was able to keep some of the guys behind us and was able to get back to the front. And I was hoping, I was dreading every lap coming down until I took the white flag lap. I was like, please don't be a caution. Please don't be a caution. I used up my last set, and I know there was probably some guys on a different strategy that probably still had one. So I'm glad we finished it off green there and was able to bring it home.
Well, man, you got some bonus points tonight for leading a lap, leading the most laps. 46 laps led, so almost half the race.
Nice.
So I wanted to ask you. I know that first stage was kind of in the middle of a fuel run. What was your plan? Did you take tires under the first caution and not take them at the stage, or did you not take them at the caution and take them at the stage?
I didn't take them at the caution. I was trying to, in hopes, maintain enough to the stage, even if we fell back and lost a few positions or not, I felt like having that extra set of tires, toward the end in case we did have some cautions like we did, which turns out the way it panned out, it benefited us by not wait until the stage to take tires. So yeah, we kind of probably lost out on a few stage points tonight, but overall the strategy got us a bigger win. The more points.
Absolutely. We were actually. I asked Greg the same question. He had the same strategy as you. So, P1 and P3 had the same strategy that worked out. Davey was fixing damage the whole time, so I didn't really ask him that question. But man, that was that strategy seemed to work out for everybody. It seemed like everybody who did take tires at that first caution ended up towards the back and getting caught up in something. So
Yeah.
definitely worked out in your favor. Man, locked into the round of 12. So, man, you got any shout outs?
Yeah, just everybody here at Relentless, all the admins and staff and everybody that puts this thing on, and you guys for doing the broadcast. North South Racing, Matt, appreciate those guys for letting me be here and race on the team. And Extreme Scoring, if anybody is looking for a league management software, that's the best route you can go. Sim Racing Hub ain't got nothing on Extreme Scoring, so.
Ooh, it sounds like that
I
might be a
appreciate it,
little
guys.
advertisement for next year.
Yeah. We're trying to grow it.
We're gonna shoot you up there with Davey and let y'all kind of devise what y'all gonna do for next week in Atlanta.
Appreciate it.
Well, Tony, Bobby, that was one for the books, and just got a little bit of breaking news that Schaefer's getting hit with a penalty. So that's
Yeah.
going to even shake up the playoffs going into Atlanta in the round of 8, also a round of 12.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll be too big of a deal. He's fast enough where I don't think that penalty will stop him from advancing. But
No, I don't think so either. I'm hoping that our top guys, which all the playoff guys are there for a reason, right? But
Yep.
there's definitely an upper echelon that we've seen throughout the season. I hope they're cool their jets a little bit and race it out like we know that they can. Would be my hope.
Yeah, the big loser on the night was Preston Hornbeck getting caught up early, and still been gallant, dropped 3 spots in the points. Joseph Maines dropped 5 in the points, but our top guys pretty much went right back to the top.
Well, it's going to be a wild one next week. Atlanta, they're going to close it down. 4 drivers will be eliminated. 12 will move on. Wednesday, it's going to be pretty wild one too, as the Cup guys are starting up their playoffs, and I believe they're going to had it up there. Let's see.
Our haulers are already parked in the garage at Michigan.
Yep. So we're going to get a 200 laps of Michigan this week as Harkin truck is off, and we'll be rolling full capacity week after next.
Yeah, tune in Wednesday night. The next gen cars are a blast at Michigan. They handle quite a bit differently than these Xfinity cars. A lot of action. Should be a good race. I know I enjoyed the last couple practice races we did there. A lot of fun.
Well, Bobby, Tony, appreciate y'all joining me back in the booth since I'm actually not under the weather anymore. Finally able to actually carry on a conversation in a race for a little bit of time. So,
Well, we're glad to have you back.
oh no,
Absolutely.
I know y'all missed me. But on behalf of myself, SBR and Relentless Racing, Tony and Bobby, we will see y'all next week in Atlanta. Until then, Tony,
Keep it spicy.